Good morning, guys. Today we will be working on implementing network service failover from book third, the last book of your MCSA. So in this, I hope you know about DHCP, right? So now we'll work on DHCP failover and then we'll work on DHCP relay agent. Okay, so what is DHCP failover and what is DHCP relay agent? Okay, so now DHCP failover is okay. Let me take one scenario for this. Okay, and okay, first let's know about this. What is DHCP failover, DHCP relay agent, what is DNS failover, and DNS forwarding. Okay, so now before working on these failover concept, let us know about what is default, what is load balancing and failover. See, as you know that load balancing is example is not this one. Okay, so let me show you the example of load balancing. See, maybe this is I have one server here and I have one server here. Okay. So you have two servers. Let me take it little bit in the middle. Okay. So here you have one network connected with the switch, and now you have here computers. One computer. Okay. So this is your LAN. So now you have multiple computers in your organization. Okay. All these clients computer are connected to the switch, connected to the switch. Now you have here one DHCP, DHCP server 1 or anything. You can take example of Active Directory also. Okay, server 2, and these are also connected with your switch to provide the IP addresses. Okay. See, by default, if you have only one DHCP server and maybe this DHCP server will fail, so these clients will not get the IP address. Maybe if you have only one Active Directory server, okay, domain server. So if you have only one, and if this domain server fails, right? Do you have any redundancy or some load balancing or something? No. So what you do, so maybe now if you have two servers, so now what we are going to see this. Now when you have two servers, it you have option. Now you have two option. Whether you want to work or take the work from these two server as a load balancing or as a fault tolerance. Now, so if you will do load balancing, suppose I am working on a load balancing, load balancing, right? So if it is load balancing, now, so if I'm talking about load balancing means will one client will come to the switch, then the first client will go from via server A to outside. Second client will come to the switch and it will come here, and then it will go via this. So this is your load balancing, right? Now means it is, they are balancing the load. Okay, maybe like if you in your organization, if you have 100 users, so 50 users will pass from here and 50 users will pass from here. That is the load balancing. And now if you're talking about fault tolerance, right, or like failover, you can say, okay, fault tolerance or failover. Okay, so if I'm talking about failover server means, now which server is your active server. So maybe this server is my active server, okay, and this server is my passive server, or you can say there are different terms, or you can say this server is my master server, and this you can say this is my backup backup server. Okay, now, so if I'm talking about active and passive, means all the traffic right now, all the traffic of your organization will pass from server 1, all, because this is active. But when the active will go down, right, automatically all the traffics will pass from here because active is down. Okay, so this is the way of understanding. Okay, it's backup. Okay, it's backup. Okay, okay, so this is the way to understand your what is the difference between load balancing and failover server. Okay, so now we have to work on DHCP failover. So same in the organization, what we are going to do, we are going to add two DHCP server. So when this DHCP server is acting as a master server, so this will act as a master server. So let's take this as a master server. Master server. And when the master server will fail, okay, so this backup server will act as a DHCP. So maybe this is DHCP 1 and DHCP 2. If this will fail, he will take the position of the DHCP 1 and it will start providing the IP address in the network. So this is not load balancing, this is failover. Load balancing is different, and this is not load balancing, this is a type of your failover. So we are working on failover, DHCP failover. Okay. Okay, so for this what we are going to do, we will work here as a, this will your DC1 and this is your DC2, and these are your Windows client. Okay, window client 1, then we'll work here, this is your window client 2, and now this is your Windows client 3. Okay, so here on the master server I'm using IP address 192.168.100.1. Okay, and here I'll be using 100.2. Okay, DNS server we are using 100.1. This is our DNS server. If you want for DNS also, you can make DNS failover also. Okay, primary and secondary. So this is my primary DNS and this will be your secondary DNS, but right now we are working on a DHCP server failover. So for this we need two DC, as I said. So here is your DC. Okay, so yeah, this is your DC and this is your DC2, means second DHCP. Okay, so before we configure DHCP failover, you have to understand we have to configure some free prerequisites of the server. So let's configure the prerequisite settings of the server. Okay, okay, so this is my DC1. Let's see the IP address and value. Okay, so on DC1 what we have to do? Okay, so this is your prerequisites. Keep in mind, let me bring the prerequisites. What is saying that both server must have server 2012 or later. It's normal. Both server must be a member server, right? Okay, so this is the first task what we are going to do. Now both server has DHCP role installed and configured. Okay, note DC1 we have to configure DHCP role only. Okay, and DHCP failover is only supported by IPv4, not IPv6 DHCP. So I'll take two servers. Okay, so same here we have DC1 with Active Directory and DNS, and DC2 only with DHCP. So come here, DC1. So verify your uh, Active Directory. So we have Active Directory users and computer here, and we have DNS. For verification through command, to verify your DNS is working fine. My IP is 100.100. Okay, DNS is Active Directory is also okay. Now what we have to show, if you open your Active Directory here and come to Server Manager. In Server Manager, when you click all server, are you getting DC2 here? No. Because I what in DHCP failover we have to add DC2 as a member server. So right now DC2 is not here, so we have to add this DC2 to DC1. So come here to DC2. Okay, let's see what is the IP address. 100.200 and 100.100 is my DNS address. So if for verification, what you can do, you can run NSLOOKUP. So it's okay, working fine. Now we have to add this machine to a domain controller. So as a member server, right click, properties. Why? See, this is very important. Let me come here. Okay, let me configure again and to show you here. So 100.100 is my DC address. So this is 100.200. 100.100 is my DNS. So of DC1. So you have to add like this. And before adding this machine to domain controller, you have to run NSLOOKUP. So when you see that NSLOOKUP is showing DC1 ist.com, the IP of DC1 and the name of DC1, means your DNS is connecting properly to DC1 and 2. So now this DC2 can be a member of your DC1. So right click, properties, you can click here change settings, and you can click here change, then click on more. Here you can write ist.com, your domain name. Then here you can write your domain ist. You can write administrator username and password of DC1. Okay, password I gave wrong. It's and the password is 123 at ist1, because I changed it before logging when I went to login on server. Okay, now welcome to ist. Close and restart. Now if you'll come here on DC1, and if you open your Active Directory users and computer, and if you will come to computers, you will see here it will refresh, maybe it will, when it will boot it will come here. I didn't change the name. Okay, let's change the name of the computer. It's coming as a it's, it's joined. See here it's 46HD0. If you'll come here in the computer, see 4CX 60830. So it's come here. So better to change, because this is the default name. So I'll change the computer name to DC2. Again asking for the username and password of the domain. It has restarted now. Now you refresh, it will be changed to DC2. Okay. So now we'll start. So the first task we have already completed. Both server must be running server 2012. So it's already running. Both server is a member server. Yes, now DC1 and DC2 is a member server. And then install DHCP role. So one I'll come on DC1. So this is my DC1. Open server manager. Click add roles and features. Next. DHCP server on DC1. We are installing DHCP on DC1. Install. Okay, so click on complete DHCP configuration. Next. Okay, IST administrator. Okay, commit. For this is if you see my DHCP video, you will understand why we need to authorize DHCP server to Active Directory. Means nobody can install fake DHCP server in your DHCP in your domain environment. That's why we need to authenticate our original DHCP server to Active Directory. Now we have installed DHCP here, so we'll come here to DC2. We have to install DHCP here also. We have to just install that role. So keep in mind, you have to log in with DC2 administrator. You don't have to log in with local administrator. Okay. So sorry, not DC2 administrator. You have to log in with IST administrator. So you have to write here IST slash IST slash administrator. So we logged into the second server where we are going to install only DHCP server. Role we will install. We will not configure. Configuration will be done directly from DHCP server 1. Install DHCP. If you want, you can install DNS also to make secondary DNS. It all depends on you. Okay, so here also you have to click on complete DHCP configuration, next, and click on commit. Done. Close. So now DHCP installation is done on both server. Now we have to make this DC2. We have to configure secondary DNS. So you have to come here to DNS, open that DNS. See, nothing is there. Nothing has been configured. So you have to come here. You have to right click, new zone, next, primary not secondary. We are going to configure this. Now zone name. So what is your domain name? So it's ist.com. Next. Now is asking to the what is your primary DNS server address. So it is 192.168.100.100. Okay. Click next. Finish. Now it's not coming because from primary server you have to allow the replication. So come here, right click, new zone in the reverse lookup zone. Next, secondary zone. Network ID is 192.168.100. 190, the master DNS address. Okay, if you'll see here also it's not coming because from the master server you have to allow the replication. So come here, open your DNS. On the forward lookup zone IST, right click on IST, go to properties, zone transfer, allow zone transfer only to the following server. Click on add it, and here you have to write the IP of secondary server. So it is 100.200. Click OK, no problem, it will replicate. Come here to reverse lookup zone. On this, right click, properties, zone transfer, same here, and the secondary server IP address. Apply, OK. You have to refresh your DNS, just refresh it. Now come here to your DC2, right click on IST, and then what is saying that transfer from master. So you have to click here, transfer from master. Here also transfer from master, and select this and refresh it. See, everything has been transferred from master. Here also come, refresh it, take some time, right click, refresh, it will come. So now this is your secondary server, secondary DNS. After this, what you have to do, you have to come to DC1 and you have to configure DHCP. So come here to DHCP, IPv4. We are going to configure, right click, new scope, This is for IST network. Next, a start IP address. What IP address you want to deploy in your network? So I want to deploy from 1 to 50. Do you want to reserve some IP address? Okay, I want to reserve from 1 to 20. I want to reserve it. So the client, whoever wants DHCP IP address, they will get from 21. Lease duration is 8 days. Yes, I want to configure scopes now. Scopes is that default gateway and DNS. So what is your default router address? It is 100.100 and it is 100.200 as well, because I have two servers. DNS address, by default it will take the first DNS because it is already configured on this machine, so I have to add the second DNS as well, the primary. This is the 100.100 is the primary and 100.200 is the secondary one. Wins address, no, I want to scope activate this. Yes, yes, finish. Now you will see here blue icon. Blue means it is not configured well. Okay, it's not configured. Okay, so you have to refresh. You have to select IPv4, refresh. Now it is already configured. If you will click on address pool will give you the information of your pool, that okay, I have configured from 1 to 50. In that I have reserved from 1 to 20. Lease means nobody has received the IP address, so I'll come to window 10.1 and see whether he is receiving the IP address or not. But before that, we should come here to edit and see the virtual, because this VMware creates sometime problems. So I'll come here. You have to change the adapter, make it VMnet2 everyone. Here also come and select this VMnet2 and come here as well and select VMnet2. Okay, after selecting that VMnet2, to click on edit, and you have to click on this virtual network editor. This is optional settings. So in VMnet2 you make sure that DHCP must disable. Okay, because if you will see DHCP enable means it is your local machine DHCP will be enabled. Okay, so you must remove it. You have to remove the checkbox here. Okay, if it is like this, you have to collect this and you have to remove this checkbox. If you will not miss, means if you will remove, if the checkbox will be here, what will happen if this client wants IP address? So instead of getting IP from DHCP, he will get IP from base machine. That's why we remove it. Okay, now come to window 10.1. Okay, so here I am on this machine and let's see configure IP address, DHCP IP address. So this machine is requesting for automatic IP address, dynamic IP address from server. Let's see what he is going to get. So I'll put like this. See, it's connected now. Let's verify. Open your CMD. Okay. See, it's received 192.168.100.22. Okay, and see the default gateway 100.100 and this one. If you will type ifig config, all, he will received all your DNS ad information, default gateway information. Now you have see two DNS address. Okay, now what is happening here? Now you receive IP address. Now what thing that if the DHCP1 will fail, now refresh it, see you got the IP address. See, now if DHCP will fail, what will happen, right? So what is the problem here? If the DHCP1 will fail, this window 10 will not get the IP address. Now what you have to configure? So you have to configure DHCP failover. So how do we configure DHCP failover? You can see here. Okay, now you have to come on DC1, right click on IPv4 and then click on, can you see here? Okay, configure failover. So when you will configure failover, okay, next, now here you have to write your partner server address. So who is my partner server? So you have to click on add server. Who is your partner server? Your DHCP, right? Click here and then select DC2 is my partner server. Next. Now what is the relationship name? So the name of your relationship. So I can say DHCP fail over between R2 and DC1 and DC2. Now maximum client lead time means how long client will wait if the main DHCP server will fail. So you can write anything here, 1 minute or like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever. So once, but by default it is 1 hour. So okay, so you have to say 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Let's say 5. Now, do you want load balancing or you want hot standby? You want failover? So no, I want failover. I don't want load balancing. Okay. Now state switchover interval. So here you have to select a state switchover interval by default, means how much time it takes to switch over to DC1 to DC2 as a server. So let it be disable. If you want, you can give time like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like this. Now enable message authentication. So you have to create secure communication between DC1 and DC2. So I'm using password 123 at IST. Okay, next and finish. See, you must see the successful with everything. Now close. Okay, now you have to come to DC2 and now you open DHCP. See, you have not configured anything, but you will see here some configuration. See, did I configure this scope? No. Did I configure any scope on this? No. Address lease, everything is here. Failover is already configured. If you'll right click here and if you'll see right click here and go to properties, failover, you will see that, see, all failover is already configured. See, DHCP failover, I gave the name. I made this as a standby and the DC1 is my primary and I am secondary, means this is master and I am backup. Click on edit if you want to configure some other things, it's okay. So you will see that now you are DHCP failover. Now what you have to do for verification, what I am going to do is this DC1 I'm going to suspend, means let us see that the DC1 is down. Okay, so when DC1 is down, DC2 is working. Okay, DC2 is working here. You have to verify, yes, DC2 is working. Okay, now come here to DC window 1. You type here IP config space // release. Okay, so once it is released, you type renew. So when you type renew, you will see that you will receive IP address, and you are receiving IP address from DC2 because DC2 is acting as a failover server. See, after this command, after renew, I got the IP address and all information I am getting, right? Okay, 192.168.100 dot this everything you are getting. Okay, so now this DC2 is acting as a DHCP failover. Okay, so this is all about how to configure DHCP failover. Okay, there is other part also, DHCP load balancing. Okay, but it's not part of your MCSA. It's part of your MCSA how we can configure load balancing in DHCP. Okay, so we are done with this DHCP failover. After this, I'll create a video for DHCP relay agent. Okay, and in this video I have already covered a little bit part of your DNS failover. Okay, so this DC2 is acting as a DHCP secondary. Okay, if you have any query, you have my WhatsApp number, you can ask from me.